The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, in an effort to improve competition, lower electricity rates and stop monopolistic practices, Sri Lanka has opened foreign tenders for large-scale renewable energy projects, declared Energy Minister. In May 2025, Sri Lanka's Purchasing Managers Index indicated expansion in both the manufacturing and services sectors, with the manufacturing PMI rising to 55.5. On the second trading day of the week, the S&P SL20 and the All Share Price Index both ended the day lower on the Colombo Stock Exchange. And the majority of Asian stock markets saw limited movement today as investors exercised caution due to continued tensions between Israel and Iran, particularly in the wake of US President Donald Trump. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Sri Lanka has launched international tenders for large-scale renewable energy projects in a bid to enhance competition, reduce electricity costs and curb monopolistic practices, Energy Minister Kumar Jayakodi announced.
Sri Lanka has announced plans to call international tenders for large-scale renewable energy projects in a bid to increase competition and bring down electricity costs. Energy Minister Kumar Jayakodi, speaking in Parliament, said only a few local firms currently dominate the bidding process and are suspected to have internal links, raising concerns about fairness. He stressed that international tenders are essential to prevent the formation of cartels in the energy sector. The minister explained that Sri Lanka had previously followed the practice for large power projects. He also clarified that international bidding does not exclude local companies from participating. Under the Yahapalan administration, smaller renewable projects were awarded through competitive bidding at prices well below the feed-in tariff set by regulators. However, the transparent system was discontinued and feed-in tariffs backed by special interests were reintroduced.
The signing of a bilateral agreement between Sri Lanka and France marks a significant milestone in Sri Lanka's external debt restructuring process. This agreement reflects the government of Sri Lanka's commitment to restoring debt sustainability and revitalizing the country's economy. France has played a key role in leading the debt restructuring efforts, co-chairing the official creditor committee alongside Japan and India. The official signing ceremony took place yesterday in Colombo with representatives from both governments present. The agreement was signed by Mr. K.M. Mahinda Siriwardana on behalf of Sri Lanka and William Bruce for the French government. This development is expected to strengthen the long-standing bilateral relationship between Sri Lanka and France. Sri Lanka's Purchasing Managers Index showed growth in both manufacturing and services sector in May 2025, with the manufacturing PMI reaching 55.5, signaling expansion.
Sri Lanka's Manufacturing Purchases Managers Index rose to 55.5 in May of this year, indicating an expansion in manufacturing activity. All sub-indices moved above the neutral threshold, signaling a recovery from the seasonal slowdown observed in April. The growth was largely driven by increased new orders and production in the textiles and wearing apparel sector. The employment sub-index also showed improvement, particularly within the same sector. Stock of purchases remained steady compared to the previous month, while suppliers' delivery times continue to lengthen. Industry expectations for the next 3 months remain optimistic with anticipated demand growth. However, concerns linger over rising electricity tariffs and instability in the Middle East.
Sri Lanka witnessed its largest ever lottery prize yesterday, with a winner taking home 474.6 million rupees. The record-breaking jackpot came from draw number 2210 of the National Lotteries Board's Mega Power Lottery. The winning ticket was sold by a sales agent in Gokarala. This prize nearly doubles the previous record of 230 million rupees, which was also won through the Mega Power Lottery. The massive payout has created a buzz across the country. Lottery officials congratulated the winner and encouraged others to try their luck in future draws. Officials also reminded players to verify their tickets carefully and claim their prizes promptly. The National Lotteries Board plans to continue offering large jackpots to attract more participants. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. The Colombo Stock Exchange closed lower on the second trading day of the week, with both the share price index and the S&P SL 20 ending in losses. This downward trend continues the market reasons volatility driven by ongoing investor uncertainty. For further insights, we speak with Salama Saloom from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo Stock Exchange experienced another day of dull sentiment and rattled investor behavior in the face of geopolitical uncertainty. The all-share price index kicked off with some decent gains and managed to hold steady for most of the morning. But towards the end of the session, it started to come under some selling pressure, which dragged it down sharply and dropped about 66 points to close at 17,293. National Development Bank, LOLC Holdings, TFCC Bank, Browns Investments and Nations Trust Bank emerged as the top negative contributors to the index. Both retail and high net worth investors took a selling stance and remained broadly active and engaged in today's session. Market turnover stood at 6.8 billion rupees, representing an increase of 35% over the monthly average of 5.1 billion rupees. The capital goods sector was the largest contributor to turnover, accounting for 34%, followed by the banking and diversified financial sectors, which collectively contributed 40%. The top three price gainers for the day were Industrial Asphalts, Senkatagala Finance Company and Mahavali Reach Hotels, while the top three price losers were Alpha Fire Services, CM Holdings and Nations Trust Bank non-voting. Thank you.
Sri Lanka's GDP grew 4.8% in Q1 of 2025, driven by strong industry and services growth despite a slight contraction in agriculture. Manufacturing and construction led the industrial sector, while financial services and hospitality saw significant gains. Now we speak with Ranjan Ranatunga from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Department of Census and Statistics released the estimated gross domestic product for the first quarter of 2025. The gross domestic product at current prices for the first quarter was recorded at 8.3 trillion rupees, denominating a growth of 4.8% year-over-year. The growth recorded in the first quarter was slightly lower from the previous quarter, which was recorded at 5.1% year-over-year. However, with the announcement of the 1Q 2025 GDP at 4.8%, Sri Lanka has recorded 7 consecutive quarters of growth in terms of GDP. The year-over-year growth recorded during the first quarter was largely attributed to the improvement in the services and industrial subsegment, while agriculture subsegment recorded decline. The growth in the industrial subsegment was driven largely by the manufacturing segment, which saw relatively higher growth coming in from manufacture of food and beverages as well as tobacco products, manufacture of textile and apparel products, also with the manufacture of coke and refined petroleum products, which saw growth at 7.2% year-over-year, 16.5% and 31.3% respectively. Growth in wholesale and retail trade, accommodation, food and beverage segments and telecommunication services were the key contributors to the growth in the services subsegment. Meanwhile, the performance in the agriculture segment was impacted by the contraction observed in the performance of the freshwater fishing segment as well as growing of tea and rubber segments. Looking ahead, we at First Capital believe that the current expansion GDP trend to continue towards the second and the third quarter as well, driven by improvement in disposable incomes, low interest rates, and continued improvement in key business sectors such as tourism, construction, and financial services. Therefore, we believe GDP growth for 2025 to be between 4 to 5%, while the GDP growth for the following year to taper down to between 3 to 4% as well.
Gold prices steadied in Asian trading today, holding below the $3,400 mark as investors weighed rising geopolitical tensions against hopes for a potential ceasefire. Spot gold edged up 0.2% to 3,392.25 cents an ounce, while August gold futures slipped 0.2% to $3,410.70. The precious metal had pulled back from recent highs after reports suggested Iran was open to a ceasefire, sparking a brief return to risk-on sentiment. However, tensions quickly resurfaced after Tehran stated it would not seek a truce while under attack from Israel. Adding to market jitters, US President Donald Trump issued a warning that fueled fears of deeper American involvement to the Israel-Iran conflict. The mixed signals kept gold trading in a narrow range as investors looked for clarity on the evolving geopolitical landscape. Bullion remains supported by safe haven demand amid ongoing uncertainty. Oil prices climbed today amid heightened geopolitical tensions, with analysts suggesting that uncertainty surrounding the Iran-Israel conflict will likely keep prices elevated. Brent crude futures rose 1.1% to $74.05 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude also gained 1.1%, reaching $72.54. Both benchmarks had surged over 2% earlier in the session before retreating and then rebounding in volatile trade. Although there have been no confirmed disruptions to oil production, markets remain on edge over potential supply risks. Iran, the third largest producer in OPEC, is at the center of concern, with fears that the conflict could impact its exports. Traders are also closely monitoring the Straits of Hormuz, a critical choke point through which around 19 million barrels of oil and products pass daily. The ongoing tensions are likely to keep oil markets sensitive to any developments in the region. The Sri Lankan rupee continued to depreciate against the US dollar today compared to yesterday. According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, both the buying and selling rates of the US dollar have increased, reflecting the currency's weakening trend. Let's take a closer look at how the Sri Lankan rupee is performing today against other major global currencies. A short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. Evolution Auto Private Limited has launched Mahindra electric three-wheelers in Sri Lanka, marking a major step towards sustainable mobility and cleaner transportation across the country.
Evolution Auto Private Limited has launched Mahindra electric three-wheelers in Sri Lanka, marking a major milestone in the nation's transition to sustainable mobility. Born from a joint venture between the Atman Group and Sino-Lanka Private Limited, Evolution Auto aims to revolutionize the local transport sector with practical, eco-friendly solutions. Under the Super Driver Venna campaign, the initiative encourages drivers to embrace cleaner, smarter and more profitable mobility options. The Mahindra Treo series, including the Treo, Treo Plus, Treo Zor and Zor DV, offers ranges between 110 to 150 kilometers with strong warranties and high efficiency tailored for passenger and cargo needs. These electric vehicles promise significant savings, reducing fuel and maintenance costs, with drivers estimated to save over 2 million rupees in 5 years. The launch also supports businesses like ride-sharing and last-mile delivery by enhancing operational efficiency and lowering expenses.
Apico, a leader in Sri Lanka's mattress industry, recently launched the Apico Next Gen mattress, featuring innovative air cooling pocket technology. The product was unveiled last week at the Ramada by Vindim in Colombo. Mr. Lalit Vijay Singha, Managing Director of Richard Peary's and Company PLC's local manufacturing and distribution sector, led the launch event. The next-gen mattress incorporates advanced German CNC foam cutting technology to enhance its cooling and comfort features. This innovation reflects Apico's commitment to improving sleep quality through cutting-edge solutions. The mattress is designed to help users enjoy better rest and wake up feeling refreshed and energized. In a significant development for Sri Lanka's lubricant industry, Love's Lubricants unveiled its new multi-grade mixed fleet engine oil, LEO, at the 2025 Distributor Summit held at Anantha Resort and Spa in Chilal, themed Drive Beyond. The event brought together top distributors, industry partners and key stakeholders to celebrate achievements and outline future plans. The new LEO engine oil is tailored for mixed fleet use, especially diesel engines, offering a cost-effective solution without compromising performance. It reflects Love's Lubricants' commitment to delivering high-quality, accessible products to meet changing market needs. CEO Kumar Rodrigo highlighted the strategic value of the launch and praised channel partners for their role in driving growth. He noted that LEO represents not just a new product, but an expanded promise to vehicle owners across Sri Lanka. NDB Leasing hosted its Auto Carnival in Negombo, providing customers with easy and flexible leasing options to drive their dream vehicles.
The NDB Auto Carnival in Negombo was held in collaboration with leading vehicle dealers such as United Motors, Perodua, Demo, LAL and Unimo. The event showcased a wide variety of commercial and personal vehicles, making it a convenient one-stop shop for buyers. Customers enjoyed exclusive leasing benefits including customized repayment plans and special interest rates. Refinancing options were also available to support flexible financing. The promotion featured zero guarantor requirements and minimal down payments to enhance affordability. NDB Leasing's efficient processes allowed many customers to drive away with their vehicles on the same day. This event reinforced NDB's commitment to making vehicle ownership easier and more accessible. The carnival attracted a large crowd, reflecting strong demand for affordable vehicle financing solutions. NDB Leasing plans to continue hosting similar events across the country to further support aspiring vehicle owners.
Derana was named Sri Lanka's most loved e-commerce brand in 2025 LMD Brands Annual, based on nationwide consumer research by Peppercube Consultants. This award highlights Derana's position as the country's leading online shopping platform and its commitment to delivering an exceptional retail experience with a wide product range and customer-focused policies. Derana continues to transform how Sri Lankans shop and engage with the digital economy. Managing Director Esan Saya said the recognition reflects strong customer trust and motivates the company to expand e-commerce access. Since entering Sri Lanka, Derana has pioneered digital sales and festivals and innovative delivery solutions. The platform also supports local entrepreneurs and SMEs by providing logistics, marketing and financial tools to connect them with millions of customers. Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Most Asian stock markets traded in a narrow range today as investors remain cautious amid ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran, especially following US President Donald Trump's call for the evacuation of Tehran. Japan's Nikkei 225 and Topix indexes gained 0.6% and 0.4% respectively, supported by strength in local technology stocks and a weaker yen boosting exporters. In contrast, China's Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 and Shanghai Composite indexes both slipped about 0.3%. while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 0.4%. Australia's ASX 200 dipped 0.1%, whereas South Korea's Kospi rose 0.5%, buoyed by optimism over increased political stability. Singapore's Straits Times Index added 0.4% despite data showing a surprising drop in non-oil exports in May and halved the country's trade surplus. Meanwhile, India's Nifty 50 index fell 0.3% in morning, trading after a strong 0.9% gain in the previous session. OpenAI executives have considered accusing Microsoft, the company's major backer, of anti-competitive behavior in their partnership, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing people familiar with the matter.
OpenAI's close relationship with Microsoft could turn sour. The Wall Street Journal says the ChatGPT maker has considered accusing the tech titan of anti-competitive behavior. It says the move could involve seeking a federal review of the ties between the two and a public campaign over the matter. OpenAI needs Microsoft's blessing to complete its transition to a public benefit corporation, but months of talks between the pair have failed to produce agreement. Among the sticking points is said to be the future stake that Microsoft would hold. Tech publication The Information says OpenAI wants the Windows maker to get a 33% share in a restructured unit, in exchange for foregoing rights to future profits. It reportedly also wants to modify clauses that give Microsoft exclusive rights to host OpenAI models in its cloud. The Information says neither issue has yet been settled. Microsoft invested an initial $1 billion in OpenAI back in 2019. But the chatbot maker has since been looking for ways to reduce its reliance on the tech heavyweight. Earlier this month, Reuters reported that Sam Altman's firm plans to start using cloud services from Alphabet to boost its computing power.
China's factory output growth hit a 6-month low in May, while retail sales picked up steam, offering temporary relief amid a fragile truce in its trade war with the US.
Mixed data out of China on Monday offered temporary relief for the world's second-largest economy. Factory output growth hit a 6-month low in May, while retail sales picked up steam. It comes as China's economy strains under Donald Trump's tariff onslaught, as well as chronic weakness in the property sector. Industrial output grew 5.8% from a year earlier, the National Bureau of Statistics data showed. That missed analyst expectations for a 5.9% rise and was the slowest growth since November last year. But retail sales got a boost, rising 6.4% and beating forecasts of just 5% expansion. All in all, though, the numbers failed to convince investors or analysts that anemic growth would pick up anytime soon. Chinese blue chips erased very brief gains in Monday trade. Data released earlier this month showed China's total exports expanded 4.8% in May, but outbound shipments to the US plunged 34.5%, the sharpest drop since February 2020.
That wraps up today's Nightly Business Report. We value your opinion. Share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or our WhatsApp at 076805793. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Until then, I'm Prashansa Gunawardana. Thank you for watching and have a good night.